I'm interested in understanding your sense of how well we're doing in our various agencies. My perspective from someone outside of the government realm for most of my career is that the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, our armed services generally have a very effective recruiting effort. Everything from the ROCT programs that have been discussed, as well as recruitment centers, advertising on various public service announcements, service academies. I mean, a very, very effective effort to recruit the best and brightest to come into our military. But I see almost no presence from our other federal agencies. Could you give me a sense of how effective the various agencies are outside of our military in recruiting some of the very best and brightest students from the best institutions of higher learning that we have and from other places?
That's a great question, Senator, and likewise, good to see you again as well. So, without singling out any particular agency, as an enterprise, the federal government as a whole is not doing very well in any of those areas that you've just outlined. Part of it is, as you mentioned, awareness, right? Somebody can't be what they don't know. And so if you don't know of opportunities of employment and jobs, careers, professions within the federal government, you're not even going to pursue. Part of it is logistics. If anybody on the committee has ever tried to navigate USA Jobs, you would quickly become disenfranchised with the process by which you try to enter federal hiring, especially when you talk to millennials and Gen Zers. Once you're past 5 or 6 mouse clicks, you start to lose interest, right? And it takes hundreds of mouse clicks to navigate USA Jobs. You've got to put in a long-winded resume, which again is not what the standard is in the private sector, where everybody's using one-page, LinkedIn type resumes to search for jobs. So we are out of step with what the up-and-coming best and brightest are used to doing when they're seeking outside employment. As the chairman mentioned in his opening comments, up to 4 months waiting to even hear back if your application has made it into the queue. We heard from individuals that were 2 years out from putting their application into USA Jobs that still hadn't heard whether or not their application was even accepted. And then we heard from individuals that 18 months after they put in the application, they were called back for an interview after they had already gone on to find another job. So we are not doing well at all. And that is why of all the 164 discrete recommendations that we make in our report, the single largest group is in public service and how to fix the federal hiring problems that we face. Commissioner Skelly.
Thank you, Chairman Heck. And thank you, Senator Romney, for the question. I'll refer back to Chairman Langford's opening statement as well with regard to out of over 100, I think 105 discrete hiring authorities, only 20 of them result in 91% of the hires. So there are hiring authorities that are effective and they're out there. And as Chairman Heck mentioned, it's an enterprise-wide problem. We have effective solutions in places. Some of them work in small places and they work for subsections of agencies or departments that are out there. They need to be more widely understood, applied, and monitored from within a place like OPM. Also, with regard to your question, Senator Romney, with regard to the effectiveness of military recruitment, it's also very expensive recruitment. It does get high quality people. It takes a lot of effort to identify those people over the course of years and monitoring the public in every age cohort. We met in Denver in a high school in a section of town where folks were not especially of high economic status, and spoke with students in there of all high school grades. And we asked them what their expectations were and their knowledge was of federal government, any kind of public career, state, local, federal government, military service, and national service. And what they knew said the ones they knew were the military. And we said, why? Well, that person stands outside our lunchroom once a month. They never see any input from the federal government as to what's out there for them or their state government for that matter. So the thing that's in their imagination is military service, and they do consider it to whatever degree, but we're not getting that opportunity. As Chairman Heck said earlier, you can't be what you don't see or understand that's out there. And I think that's the largest challenge that we have, is setting those conditions early with people who are then more propense to receive and understand the opportunities in federal service.
Thank you very much. That's very helpful. my own perspective, I used to be in charge of hiring, recruiting for a substantial consulting firm. And I note that we recognize that our success as a firm was a function of the quality of people we were able to hire. And so a very substantial portion of our budget and of our personnel, even at the highest level, was devoted to the recruitment of top talent. And hopefully we can develop that type of approach in the agencies of our government, not just in the military. I know their recruiting process is expensive, but I think it's a smart way to go. With that, Mr. Chairman, I'll turn the clock back to you. Thank you for the chance to ask those questions and to hear from people so knowledgeable and capable.